South Australia Police continues to take strong actions against people who pose a threat to victims in our community. We have a very strong belief that all members of our community have a right to feel safe. And in the past 2 weeks, we have arrested 78 domestic violence offenders, which is a significant number, and they've been arrested for a total of 143 offences. This is part of Operation Storm. This is the third time that we've held Operation Storm, which will now be a long-term continuing operation for SAPOL, with our focus on domestic violence and keeping people safe in our community, particularly women and children. If we look at over the 3 op storms that we've conducted, one each quarter, the total is 374 offenders. And in anyone's view, that is a terrible indictment on the amount of domestic violence that is perpetrated in our community. And that's why SAPOL have taken this very strong approach of dedicating resources, particularly every quarter, to give us that opportunity to surge our capacity and focus on those offenders who have a domestic violence history and we say are the greatest risk to victims in our community. And in relation to helping those people as well to change their behaviour, we're also providing information to the offenders about programs that are available to them outside of SAPOL to assist in them changing their behaviour, because the long-term strategy here is to prevent and then stop reoffending. Happy to take any questions.
How concerned are you that 78 people have been arrested in 2 weeks? That is a significant number.
It's a significant number, and I think it shows the dedication of the police to this task. But domestic violence has been prevalent in our community for since ever day dot. That doesn't mean it's right; it's abhorrent. We're pleased that people have more confidence to come forward now and talk to police about it, and that there's also no tolerance for this behaviour in the right-minded people within our community. But the number is high. Any number is too high. But this does show that when we take a dedicated approach to repeat offenders, we send a very strong message.
How concerned are you that, as you say, these people are repeat offenders? What next? What's to stop these 78 from becoming a statistic in the next quarter? Well, some of those things is a disruption. So the fact that they're being arrested and they're going before the courts again, the courts have an opportunity to look at the penalties based on the reoffending. So, that is one avenue. The other thing is to make people accountable for those behaviours and also to give them alternate pathways with the programs that are provided to assist them in stopping this behaviour and realising that it's not acceptable.
How's the proactive approach going, do you think, with the offenders that you do see? Do you think the penalties or the proactive approach in going and arresting them or going and at least speaking to them is working? I think any action that counters the behaviour immediately has to have an effect. Only time will tell in terms of the range of penalties. This is only the third time we've held the operation, so we're holding it every quarter. So it hasn't yet had a full year. Sometimes these matters do take time to go through the courts, but what we're hoping to see is a reduction in terms of their behaviour, and we're hoping to see the penalties proportionate from the courts in relation to the offences.
There's obviously a big focus every quarter as part of Operation Storm. Does police have the resourcing to just make this a continual day in, day out operation rather than intense every quarter, so to speak? It
is a part of our daily operations. We have significant resources on a daily basis, but what it does when we have Operation Storm is we can target those high-risk offenders with a dedicated focus, with a significant number of police. We do it with other operations when we come together for days of action, where we have a specific focus. It's a bit like it's like our version of swarming. They don't know we're coming, but when we arrive, there's big numbers, and we're going to get them on those days. They don't know the dates, they don't know the place, but they know it's less likely to happen. But on a daily basis, we are always attending proactively and responding to calls for assistance in situations that can become clear to us are domestic violence. In other instances, it's clear the person seeking that specific help because they recognise it's domestic violence.
We know that in general, domestic violence is underreported. So what's your message to victims of domestic violence in terms of your efforts and maybe giving them some more confidence to be able to come forward?
Look, we are here to help. We are really dedicated. We recognise that domestic violence is a very insidious form of violence. Sometimes it's not apparent to family members or friends, sometimes it is. But the devastating impact it can have on women and children in terms of their confidence, their financial security and their physical security is of utmost concern to us, and people should be able to come forward and have confidence that we will take this seriously. I mean, I know the police officers who work in this day in and day out, and the dedication that they show to reducing this crime and to helping victims is an amazing amount of effort.
I know that you have to be careful in terms of confidentiality because of the nature of these crimes. Are you able to give us any general examples of some of the arrests that you've made?
There was one that stands out at the moment, which was a 24-year-old man at Freegon. He was arrested after a high-risk incident when police went to deal with him in terms of this type of offending, and he actually threatened police with a pole and an axe. So, you know, when you're resorting to violence against a vulnerable victim, but you're prepared to do that to police, what does it say about the amount of danger that that person posed to that victim? It's very alarming. But what it shows is that we're in the right place at the right time, because things could have got much worse for that victim.
Any other questions? No.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could, the two crashes there was 2 crashes or 3 crashes this morning, and then obviously the road toll for this time of the year, I think it was the other day almost double what it was last year. We've got Live Golf, we've got the Fringe preview. What's the message to motorists out there for this weekend?
So it's been a terrible start to the deaths on our roads this year. It's been very alarming, actually, considering where we were travelling last year in terms of road deaths. I mean, we always say one death is too many, but when you get such a significant start at the beginning of a year, it really concerns us about driver behaviour. And we do have larger amounts of people in the CBD and around the state because of all the events that are occurring. And all I can say to people is, you know, just take care. You will get there. Be patient on our roads. Yes, there's a lot more people around. There'll be a lot more pedestrians, particularly in the CBD. Let's all treat people with respect, and don't be the person that causes us to go and knock on someone's door to tell them a loved one is no longer with them. Don't do it, because you'll have to live with it for the rest of your lives, and so does everyone else who's affected by that.
And just the other one from us was just the Milo fire, but I don't know if you've got an update on that, if it's being investigated.
So the fire is being investigated. It's very early stages in the investigation, but we know that the local police, particularly their local detectives, are investigating that matter, and if we have any information, we'll let you know as soon as we can.
Perfect, thank you.
Deputy Commissioner, can I just confirm the dates of the 2 weeks that this operation stalled?
It was in the last 2 weeks.
So from the 1st of February until today?
Yes.
Yes, okay.